What's up team, you already know it's Steve from Grind Time Strength, and today we're going to go over some Bulgarian split squats. Now, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, click the notification bell so you know when I'm dropping a new video. And let's get after it, team. All right, guys, now I'm going to talk some key principles that I certainly believe and that I apply with my clients on why you should be doing Bulgarian split squats. Now, it's also known as a rear foot elevated split squat, but for me, I like calling it the Bulgarian. Now, reason number one, it will drastically improve on your imbalances. Now, we're naturally, going to be imbalanced in some way, shape, or form based on, our sleeping patterns, our, sitting at a desk or whatever the case is. We're just going to favor one side over the other. In order to prevent injuries, we need to be working on imbalances. And this just goes to whether you're an elite athlete or even just an everyday gym goer. We need to be working on imbalances in order to have a strong and healthy body. Now, reason number two, this will transfer over to strength tenfold. If you want to be strong, you need to be incorporating single leg movements. Now, it doesn't just stop at the Bulgarian split squat, but for today, we're gonna be focusing on the split squat. This movement not only targets your quads, but it also goes into your hamstring, your butt, your groin muscles, your balance. It is definitely super key to getting strong. Now, somebody that I look for information, Louis Simmons from Westside Barbell, he definitely incorporates single leg movements in his athletes, and I definitely believe it is super beneficial for not just athletes, but everyday people. Now, the third reason, if you are competitive, or even if you're just trying to improve your back squat, front squat, clean strength, whatever it is, incorporating this movement will add several pounds to your max PR. And the reason being, when you're back squatting, front squatting, or whatever the case is, you don't get a chance to strengthening that single leg at a time. We're focusing on compound movements, so we're doing multi-joint movements, especially if you're training for sport. It's definitely super beneficial to incorporate single leg movements, just to be explosive, to be super powerful, to be able to create that single leg strength. Now, to dive into how to knock out these lifts. All right, guys, now let me go ahead and dive into showing you how we can do the Bulgarian split squat. Now, setup's gonna go super similar to the back squat, where we're gonna line up our thumbs right where the rough part of the barbell starts to ensure our grip's gonna be even on each side. Now, that's gonna depend on you. If you like your hands wider or closer, definitely go with whatever you prefer, just as long as the bar is balanced on your back. Now, next, when we line up on the bench, you want to make sure that you are about 2 feet distance from the bench. So taking 2 steps out, that should be about a gauge where you're going to line up your feet. Now, everyone's going to be different, where you might want to be a little bit closer, you might want to be a little bit farther, whatever it is, just go with what feels good. Now, from there, you're going to go ahead and line up to the bar, placing it on your back, nice and tight, taking those steps back to line up your feet for that split squat. So 1, 2, and now from here, once I'm ready to go, I'm gonna take a deep breath, placing my foot on the bench. And then from here, once I'm nice and tight, I'm gonna go ahead and squat all the way down, going as low as I can go, and then standing up tall, squeezing my butt at the top, going as low as I can go, and then right back up. Now, once you complete your reps, go ahead and rack that. And now, just to point out a few key differences that I want to make sure you definitely take away for today. If you're performing your split squat and your knee travels over your toes, you definitely want to consider that's going to be more quad dominant, which is totally fine. Now, if your knee travels a little bit more back and you have more of a vertical shin, that's going to be way more glute dominant. Now, this should depend on person to person on what they want to target. So for instance, I find most of my lady clients that want to target more of their butt, which is totally fine. You definitely want to do that. But if you have some type of deficiency on your quads where you're like, all right, I have trouble squatting, my legs give out, or whatever the case is, definitely want to consider that when you're performing the split squat. Now the next thing, When you're doing it, I definitely prefer that you go at a slow cadence, so that way you're not rushing through the reps. You'll definitely get a lot of benefit from doing that, and it'll definitely transfer over to your overall strength. All right, guys, so now you're probably wondering, how can you add this into your program? Now, the Bulgarian split squat is something that is definitely super sore, like it'll make you crazy sore. So definitely want to consider that when you're incorporating your training. But one way I like to definitely do it, I'll set a rep goal. So for today, I'll program build up to a 5 rep max with each rep 3-second negative and a 2-second pause at the bottom. And then once I reach that top set, I drop down. Depends on how I'm feeling or depends on the cycle that I'm on, but I'll drop down 10, 15, or even 20% and do a few drop down sets and then go for a max effort set, so that way I'm inducing some type of muscle building and muscle breakdown. But we could definitely dive into that in a later topic, in a later video. But that's one way you can definitely incorporate it in your training. Another way is to add it into your accessories, where you're doing 3 sets of 5 for each leg, or 3 sets of 10, 3 sets of 15, 5 sets, whatever the case is, as long as you're incorporating progressive overload in your training. Simply meaning, if you are week to week, you're incorporating adding weight, reps, intensity, or decreasing the rest period. It doesn't have to be all, it should only be one actually, but incorporating those principles for progressive overload should be key. Now, if you like content like this, be sure to make sure you check out my previous video on snatches and how you can definitely improve your technique. And if you like stuff like this, make sure you share with a friend. You already know this is Steve from Grind Time Strength, and we are out here.